Hi, my name is Gina, and I like shifty things. Hi! Today we are playing with multichromes! I'm really excited to do this because I have been kind of experimenting with multichromes since they kind of came into the public eye, and so far I've been, to be honest, really disappointed in them, but I have actually managed to get two multichromes that I'm very happy with, and so I figured I would come on camera today and play a little bit with them and give people a sense of like how to work with them, how to get the best life, the best show out of your multichrome eyeshadows. So that's what we're going to be doing. I'm going to be working with two different types of multichrome eyeshadows today. One is a pressed shadow. This is Clionadh's Castle, which is part of their stained glass collection. I was gifted this by my friend Angela, who is wonderful, so thank you. The second one we are going to be playing with is a loose shadow. This is from Sigil Inspired, and this is part of their chromatic series. It is Lust. And if you were admiring the swatches on my hand earlier, this is Clionadh's Castle, and the one at the top is Lust. Without any further ado, let's go ahead and get started with this multichrome tutorial. So my eyes are primed with my Smashbox 24-hour primer, and I actually haven't put anything else down. It's been on my eyes for a little while because I was playing with swatches, but it's still sticky. It's not as sticky as if I had just put it down, but it's still got some tack to it. The first thing to kind of know when you're working with multichromes is that you are not going to blend them the way that you would a regular shadow. This is because multichromes are a special kind of mica on top of a black base. And so what happens when you rub them is the black base comes out and forward. In my experience, the Clionadh shadows do this less than other shadows, but it's still very much a thing that you have to be careful about. These are swatched over glitter glue, so even if you have a very sticky base, they're still going to do that. So you need to be careful. Just gonna wipe all that off. Don't worry, we can still get a blended look. It's just gonna take a little bit of a different technique than you might be used to. But to go in first, we're going to use either my flaff brush, which is flat and fluffy. This one is a Zoeva 227, but the Morphe also has one in a line like this. And what you're looking for is that you've got a flat-ish edge here to pat on with, but the top is still pretty fluffy. And what this is going to do, this is going to allow us to pat on our multichrome while getting a softer edge at the same time that doesn't require us to do as much buffing. If you don't have something like this, a regular flat brush will do, but you might have to do a little bit more work to get everything blended out. The base of our look today is going to be Clionadh's Castle because it's incredibly vibrant and I love it. So I'm going to go in with my flaff brush. I'm going to pick some up just like I would a regular shadow. And then I'm going to take it and I'm just going to pat it all over my lid. One of the things to keep in mind with multichromes as well is that you want to put it over as much of the width of your eye as possible. And this is because it needs the curvature of your eye to do its shifting magic. So I find a lot of what I like to do is like smoky eyes with them. That's not to say that you can't do a more traditional like cat eye kind of thing with them. You just won't get quite the depth of the shift that you would otherwise. I'm taking a look at this in my mirror and I want to make sure that it comes above my hood a little bit. So I'm going to take just a little bit more and bring that a little bit higher. But one of the things that I did when I first played with these is that I just brought it a bit too high, and I want it it to be a bit more subtle. Well, not subtle, but... Okay, so I brought that right up. Now, we're gonna do our crease work next. This is similar to a technique that folks in the UK do, which is that they start with their darkest shade and work to their lightest shade. Here we've put down the Multichrome as our darkest shade, and we're gonna blend on top of that. To do that, we are going to pick 2 shades in the same color family as our Multichrome and its shift. So I've actually pulled out 2 greens here. One is Smash from Pinky Rose's Bright Lights, and the other is Sublimate, also from Clionadh Cosmetics. And what I'm gonna do is I'm going to get this is a blending brush and it has some fluff to it, but it's also a little bit more dense and is a little bit more pointed, and that's gonna help us do what we need to do here. So I'm gonna go into Smash first, pick up some on my brush, and then still with patting motions, I'm gonna lay it sort of on top of the Multichrome that we put down and sort of over my skin. We're overlapping them. But I am not using sweeping motions like I would with my other shadows. The more you touch and disturb these shadows, the more you get that blackness. You want to make sure to pick a shadow that is going to be relatively opaque, because part of the work of this is covering up, not all, but part of the Multichrome that we laid down so that it appears to be a smoother gradient. If you prefer to blend your stuff out with neutrals, you can still do this, but I would recommend still going in first with like a matte color in that same color family and place it over the top, but you want to do it a lot smaller, you want to use a much smaller brush than I just did. You want to use something like what we're about to go into the inner corner with. I'm going to lay down my other shade next, and since this is just going on top of the other matte, you can apply this in a more traditional way, but just to demonstrate that motion again, I'm gonna do it the same way we did the last one. So you can see here that in this area out here where I started blending, it did gray up a bit. It's a little bit darker, and that's why I would suggest you're gonna want that transition from the Multichrome to your crease shades right in that hollow of your crease, because that grayness is going to give you a sense of depth, and if it's in the right place, it will look right. If it's in the wrong place, it'll look kind of weird. So try and aim to get that transition where it's going to gray up just a little bit where your crease is. And to that end, I would recommend also using maybe a bit of a brighter color than you might otherwise do, because that black that comes out from the Multichrome will darken the shadow that you put on top of it. So if you use a lighter color, it won't look quite as like grayed out or weird. And it also will help with that blend. I'm kind of seeing like a spot here, and I'm not sure. This is just me being fussy. Let me check my mirror. Okay, so that's the basic blending technique for multichromes. I didn't go too crazy, and I am wearing my glasses, so there may be some roughness in that blend, but in general, that's the technique that you use. Just keep in mind that the more that you mess with and the more that you touch that multichrome, the more it's going to disturb that black base and the darker it will get. So don't do your general sweeping motions, keep it to patting only, and you should be in good shape. I'm gonna do my other eye, my base, all of that good stuff, and then come back and we will play with the other multichrome. Okay, so I've been experimenting, and I do kind of need to move fast because I've mixed some stuff into a gel. But my base is done, my face is foundationed and powdered, and I did the lower lash line and inner corner just to save some time. One of the big things that you hear about multichromes is that they're good as liners. But one of the things that I have found over the past few months in playing with these is that when you mix these with a medium, like the act of mixing it brings out that black base. It does that stuff that we've been talking about that like you want to avoid with multichromes. And so I was trying to figure out how I wanted to go about making a liner. And the first thing I did, which is why I'm a little pressed for time, is I mixed the pigment in the NYX Multitasker mixing medium, which I had the same problem with that I did with other things, in that just like it was pretty dull, pretty cloudy. It looked very black. That's this down here. Then I tried a couple other things. I tried just plain glitter glue. I tried a black base. I tried, oh, so this is a swatch over bare skin. And what you see here, this is the mixed liner, and then I went back over the top with dry shadow. So what I'm gonna do is actually, I'm gonna put that mix in my crease. I'm gonna do a wing in the crease, and that's gonna kind of give us some space to kind of explore what's going on here and make sure that my hypothesis here is correct. So I've got some on my liner brush, and it's gonna take me a few minutes to get that wing sketched out. Enjoy. Sorry, I do have to be eating my mirror here. Alright, so I've got that laid down. And honestly, that is kind of a look in and of itself, and I don't hate it, but gotta be extra. So I'm gonna go in with that same liner brush. I did wipe it off a bit, but it probably still has some of that mixing medium on there, which is good. It'll give us some tack. And I'm just gonna place it right over the top of where my still wet line is, and that should bring back the vibrance. And again, similarly to when we did the eyeshadow, you want to use patting motions as much as you can. And I can see the difference. I don't know if it's coming up on camera. You could also put down a clear glitter glue and do this, but I wanted something that I knew I was going to be able to see. I also found that having the base underneath it gave it some vibrance, which helps a lot too. Alright, so there's my winged liner. I'm going to go ahead and do the other one. I'm not even going to turn my camera off, so in the off chance that this footage comes out better, that's what we'll be seeing. Okay, so as I mentioned, not the best winged liner of my life, but here we are. I do think that essentially your best bet for using these as liner is going to be putting down something sticky, whether it's a colored base or a clear glitter glue, and then again patting it on top. I know a lot of people talk about using multichromes as liners, and I can't speak for anybody but myself, but I know that I also found that a little disappointing. I'm pretty happy with it. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish up the rest of everything, and then I will come back and we'll do some close-up shots with all of the changing lights so that you can see all of the magic of what we put together. so that is the finished look. I've got a more directed light source over here so that you can kind of see it shift while I'm talking. At least that's the plan. Keep in mind that for something like flat light in front of you, you're not really going to see the shift that well just because of the way that multichromes work. They're based on the angle of the lighting that hits them and the angle that you're viewing them from. So just keep that in mind as you work with them and have a little patience. If all else fails, you can use the little LED light on your phone to pull it over here and you can see that shift really strong. Because of that, I would say that if you're doing something outside, like going to the park or to a concert, like outside, you're not gonna have as much of an impact. But if you're going to like a club or an inside concert or something like that, you definitely will see this more. I'm gonna turn down this light over here. Fuck you too. Okay, so sorry about all of that. My lights are hating me at the moment. But as I mentioned in the video, the multichromes that I worked with today have a black base, and that's so that the color of them comes out more vibrantly. There are also white-based and non-based multichromes that have the same shift, but they're not going to be quite as solid and vibrant and dark. And so those are something that you can look at as well. I hope you liked this video with all of the shifting multichrome goodness. If you did, please feel free to give me a thumbs up and leave me a comment down below. Tell me a little bit about your experience with these and if you've had any troubles making them work and if my video was helpful. If you like me and my flowing red hair, please do also subscribe to the channel. I upload on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, at least for the foreseeable future. You can find me on the internet at Faces by Gina. I have an Instagram and a Facebook under those names where I upload every single day. I hope you are having a great day, no matter where you are, and please do remember to think deeply, critically engage the world around you as you're being good to yourself and to other people. I will see you out there on the internet.